Oh my gosh, someone's got some background music going. I love hearing that tune. I love hearing it. It's TikTok. It's time to rock. It's the Boxing Day special. I think we've done this a couple of times already, guys. So this is a special one because we've got 4 quadrants. Rock. It's the Boxing Day special.
Hooray. New boy era.
Rookie era.
Rookie era.
All right. G'day, guys. This is the Sunday show. This is the Boxing Day special. Thank you, guys, for joining us. We've done this a couple of times in the past, but we always look forward to these little regular anniversaries and events for our little channel here. The good thing about this show here that we have is that we've got 4 co-hosts. In the past, we've only had 3, and back in the olden days, it was only 2. So, Hoss, brother, welcome to the Boxing Day special. Good to see you.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Good to be here, of course, and Merry Christmas to anyone out there. And I hope the last few days have been good for everyone and not eating too much food. But of course, that's ridiculous because we really know everyone has been. So, yeah.
Did you have turkey?
I haven't had turkey, but I think I've had every single other thing under the sun. So yeah, feeling a little bit heavy today, actually. So wearing the black t-shirt so no one can tell, you know. But yeah.
Oh, well, mate, you're welcome to do that though, because we're all in the black t-shirt territory. We've got down there on the bottom with the guy with the guns, the roadie for the corner bar show. Good to see you, brother. How are you?
Hey guys, how are we? And Merry Christmas to everyone. Merry Christmas to you guys. It's great to see you guys live. As I know we chat away in the private chats, but it's great to see you guys face to face, cyber face to face, and everyone in the chat as well. Thanks for joining us.
What's really interesting about our show is that we've got different time zones. So while it's Boxing Day here in our part of the world, our North American cats in the chat, it's still Christmas Day. So, as Brad said, Merry Christmas, and we look forward to hanging out with you guys, talking about a few things that have happened in the past and some really, really cool things that we look forward to maybe that might happen in the future, Hoss.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think that, now's obviously a great time to reflect on the year that's been, all the ups and the downs. And, but, I think everyone's really feeling pretty buoyant about next year. Hopefully we're all through the worst of it all. And we've learned to cope with everything better, but it's been, it's been an interesting year. And there's definitely been a lot of great things about 2021, It's been good in a lot of ways.
Yeah. And look, I think that's one of the great things about our channel and what we try to do here is we always try and be positive. Music is that positive energy, isn't it? Without sounding like Simon, the rock professor hippie from 1967, but it's a real thing. I see on social media posts that you've isolated. Is that because, your family have found out, that your personality is actually toxic, or is it because you've got toxic things in you?
Yeah, they're finally so appalled by my behavior, they banished me to the tower, and where I sit in splendid isolation with, you'll be pleased to know, with a guitar, in fact, 2 guitars and an amp. Yes, I have the the dreaded plague, but it's all right. That's my major problem, is having a terrible cough. But other than that, I'm fine. And I'm here because why not? I'm awake anyway. I might as well do something, mightn't I?
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's always a pleasure to catch up with the rat bags.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and Simon, thanks for joining us. I know you mustn't be feeling the greatest, but
right.
if
to be honest,
if you need a little bit of time out, if you need a little bit of time out, I'm sure
Coughing.
Andrew will give you a time out, mate.
If you suddenly see me disappearing, I'm coughing my guts up. Well, I'm triple vaxxed. I'm fine. It's seemingly I've got the probably got the Omicron version of it. I've no idea where I got it from. I've been keeping keep myself away from the crowds pretty much, but somehow I've managed to pick it up and get a positive test from a lateral flow test. And so yeah, as we come, my whole family's here. We're in this house in North Devon. I'm not at home, as you could tell by the background. Look at those there. That's so I'm going to be banished to the top of the house. This is a big Victorian house, and it has got a third floor with this big kind of bedroom, sitting room in it and stuff. So I'm up here on my own, splendid isolation in the Tower of Doom.
Awesome. The best place to be is in the tower, because you are the professor. So, you should be looking down on all your subjects.
I'm busy studying.
No, it's all right.
In the library.
In the library.
The library.
And does the library have the big bookshelves with the open fireplace?
Oak bookshelves. And
yeah,
absolutely.
Open fireplace. Yeah. Cigars.
One of those
rum.
ladders that goes round, runners, goes round all the walls.
Beautiful.
Fantastic. Hey guys, it's one of the great things about Christmas time. I'd like to think that everybody can participate in this. Is that some of us might even get presents. So this is a good time to show off some presents if anybody's got any. Who's going first? Who's got some presents?
Go on, Andrew, you go first.
No, you guys go.
I'll go. Okay.
Yeah, you're going. Okay. What do you got there, brother? Show us your stash.
Well, first and foremost, I'm getting. I got from my lovely girlfriend an LP player. I haven't assembled it properly yet, so I've got this actual LP player. It's a carbon EFO, which I don't know if anyone's familiar with that brand.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
So I'm going to be getting that set up over the next 5 to 10 hours. I'll be set up and ready to go. And as part of this present here, I got the amazing, you can't see what this is, can you? It's actually the White Album by the Beatles. So I've got this now.
Excellent. With the posters.
So Dear Prudence and While My Guitar Gently Weeps and all those wonderful songs on this album. So I've got this and the other presents that are relevant to the show. Got All Things Must Pass on vinyl. So I'm extremely excited to whack this on, I must admit. And this is not quite mine, but it's almost mine. It's my son's. And he's got waiting for the one, so I'm going to hear that.
Quality pressing. Is that a high quality pressing one?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, quality guarantee. Yeah, it's a high quality one. So my son's a massive Doors
speed master.
Yeah, so I'm pretty excited about that, guys. Amongst a number of other things, but that's the things that are relevant to the show.
Marvelous.
I thought I'd show.
Cool.
Record players are always cool.
Yeah. I bought myself.
I've become a vinyl sniffer.
Good on you, brother. That's the way.
That's great.
I'm always happy to have vinyl sniffers on the show, as the Rock Professor would attest to. So,
yes,
nothing like opening up that record, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah, they do have a unique smell about them.
Yeah. Guys, I shouted my self. It's a Epiphone hummingbird. I picked this up about a week ago, and obviously one of the great things about Epiphone, the inspired by Gibson range, is that they're pretty good. It's the second inspired by Gibson guitar I've got. I've got that Firebird, and so this is my, and I've always loved the hummingbirds. So I'll just put me on solo and just show you guys here.
Very
lovely.
nice.
Yeah, look at that. Beautiful. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah, it's good.
Give it a
guitar.
strum. Give it a strum. Oh, he's got a he's got a tremendously directional microphone.
That's right. Radio mic.
That's one of the things that we're going to work on for the channel next year. Is we're going to do a bit of gear testing, bit of gear playing. So we can talk about that later on, maybe, because I know that Hoss and the Backdoor Man are going to organise something so that they can get some tonal frequencies coming through when we do some gear and tech tips with Brad.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Hoss. Yeah.
Yep.
And so we're excited about that. Hoss is a bit of a gear tech head, aren't you? You're good at working out all this stuff with interfaces and working out how to get guitars through. So
I'm not too bad. I mean, it takes me a while, but I kind of enjoy it once I get down to it. But I wouldn't say I'm like super fast and intuitive at it. But yeah, it's unfortunately in the age that we live in, there's just no choice. You've just got to get your head around it, no matter what.
Yeah.
So true. Yeah. So that's all cool. But yes, on a future show coming up real soon, I'll definitely have my full Van Halen rig for the Corner Hotel mic'd up here in the studio, and coming through the YouTube stream in perfect sound instead of the sound in the room here with the computer mic and stuff. So that way everyone can hear it properly. What I'll be sending to front of house. So that'll be fun.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Can't wait.
Cool. So, have you got presents, Simon, or have you?
I've got lots of good presents, and some I can't show, but anything musical. To be honest, I sort of was cheeky and bought myself during the year, so I kind of blown my own Christmas. What I'd normally have as a Christmas budget to myself for bits and pieces for the studio or a new guitar or this and that. But I mean, I've been really fortunate this year, and I've had some wonderful new pieces of equipment. And as you guys all know, Neil Daly built me my 5150 replica guitar, and
very cool.
And it's all kind of relic, and so really, in a way, even though that didn't come like for Christmas, that was one of the best Christmas presents for me this year that I could have. So So yeah, my Christmases came early. That's how it sort of felt to me this year.
Yeah. Well, what did I get? Lots of things. First of all, friend of ours, the mighty guitar hack.
Oh yeah, look at that.
I needed
Awesome.
to have. I'm a hack and I'm okay. I needed to have one of those for sure. So because I also got a couple of that pedal show t-shirts as well.
Oh,
nice.
Very cool. And can I say, that's my favorite. It's the little things, isn't it? So with the t-shirts come a little thing, just with a handwritten.
Oh, that's nice.
See,
it is the little thing.
Takes 10 seconds, doesn't it, to do that? And yet, it's pretty cool.
But it means so much. Yeah.
No, absolutely. It's fantastic. I think that's really cool. I think anybody who does anything in the commercial, that's worth a lot, isn't it? Absolutely.
Stop it, Neil.
Worth a lot. And
that's enough. That's enough, Neil. Contain yourself. Yeah.
And like Brad, I got a cool vinyl record as well.
Oh yeah, look. Hang on, I'll be back.
No Nukes concert. So I've got that. I did kind of buy it for myself a while ago, but the kids, I gave it to the kids to give to me. That's fine. Look at that. So not even opened. But yeah, really looking forward to that. It's not been out before, so I've heard bits of it before. So I'm really looking forward to that epic performance from the boss.
Okay, well, you guys aren't the only ones who can sniff vinyls around here. I forgot to mention I got this one too.
Oh, Robert Johnson, King of the Delta Blues. Yes.
Yeah. So this is
classic.
the one that Clapton and Keith all drooled over and read stuff and knew this biography on the back here, word by word.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I remember that.
Wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You got something, Hoss?
Yeah, I do have something. Speaking of, well, Simon was showing his signed card there, and there's something that it wasn't for Christmas. It's something that arrived during the year that is pretty special for me, and so it feels like a bit of a Christmas present. That it also is signed, and I've been waiting for this a long time. And when I show it, anyone watching the show will realize that just the weight on these things is astronomical and always worth it. But for anyone that knows the Analog Man, King of Tone pedal,
that's a 2.5 year wait, isn't it?
Wow.
Yep, and in gold and black. And Mike was kind enough to sign the inside of it for me, which is like a really, really special thing. So that came this year. And I've been waiting on that for a long time. And so, you know, that was, I consider that like an early Christmas present as well.
That's awesome.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
That's what
I'm secretly a little bit jealous, Simon.
But Simon, you're right. You know, with your signed card, that's what made me think to go and grab it, because it takes only like 10 seconds for someone, but it's so special for the person that receives it. You know. Yeah.
I went to see Chris Buck, who's you probably know, fantastic. Went to see him, and I bought an album while they were there, and they signed it. But he put a special message to me on it as well. It's just, as I think I posted it, saying it's the little things, you know. Takes 5 seconds to write a little message to somebody, you know, that makes it. And as I say, I think that's really cool because it's clearly handwritten. You know, somebody's done it, and it's fantastic. So hats off to them for that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I might do some shout outs quickly, fellas, before we get
some shout outs. Yeah.
stuck into it. We've got Christine already active in the chat as always, talking about her dog.
Christine.
Yeah. Mark Tanner, Merry Christmas. Arvin, of course, always in the chat. Thanks. Merry Christmas, Arvin. Tim Thomas, Nelson Rodriguez. We got Ellen there. Hey, Ellen. Hope you're doing well. Of course, John ZD351. Thank you, John. Merry Christmas, of course. We got Layla's Guitar Daddy in the chat. Charmaine. We've got the illustrious Neil Daly, who I was talking about just before, of course, who's built my 5150 guitar. And why not just shamelessly plug that if anyone hasn't come across Neil and his work, please do check out Daily Custom Designs, and you'll see some incredible
Hoss, we have to get him on a show. We've got to get him on a show, don't we? We've got to get him on a show.
Yeah, I totally agree. And actually, speaking of Christmas presents, a good friend of mine here in Melbourne, Adam Roach, who I put in touch with Neil, has ordered his Christmas present to himself, which is a very unique, one-of-a-kind take on Eddie Van Halen's Bumblebee guitar, but not exactly the same, not an exact replica. He wanted it personalized to just the things he wanted. He wanted the humbucker angled. He wanted a couple of other things. And so Neil Daly built that for him. And at some point, we should show that off as well, because he'll get that for Christmas. And I think he's pretty excited, of course, about that. And we got Teresa all the way from Brazil in the chat also. Hey, Teresa, Merry Christmas.
Yeah. And I'll do a little shout out to our mate Warren. We hope you're well, Warren. Our present thoughts are with you, mate. So please, let us know you're okay. Give us thumbs up or whatever it is. We'd love to hear from you, mate, and see you back in the chat. My beer dispensers are awaiting your comments. So.
And the real reason why Brad wants you, bro, because he wants you to lift all the amps, and because he's managed to get John, he's getting all these guys to the quarterback gig, and so Brad's just going to stand and be pointing stuff around and stuff like that. You guys,
I'm going to be delegating jobs. Don't worry. I'm going to be delegating.
Brad's gone from the heavy lifting to directing traffic. Supervising. Isn't that what they call it? Supervising.
Yeah,
it's the most important
manager.
role.
Stage manager, isn't it? That's what he's doing.
Yeah, that's it.
And
plus, Warren, I need to utilize your EC strat again, mate. So I need to know you're okay, so we can pull that out and dust it off and give it a run.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Yeah, sincerely though, we do hope that he does get better, because he, for a long time, was always a rat bag in the chat, wasn't he? And we do miss him. But thank you, bro, for that shout out. So I think what we're going to do, guys, and if you guys want to participate in what we're doing here on the show, we're going to talk about some positive things, 3 positive things, 3 negative or sad things that happen throughout the year. And then obviously we're going to top it off with some hopes and aspirations that we have as far as music or music-related things next year. So, Hoss, I think you said that you were going to volunteer first and get the ball rolling, brother.
Sure, why not? Well, look, if I may be so bold, why not just get the ball rolling with, I think, one of my 3 things that I think were like really awesome about 2021 was that after we had kind of mourned the passing of Eddie, it really became a year of appreciating Eddie and reflecting on the legacy that he left and all the great music. And we were just blessed with, like, all these people did so much hard work in their way of showing appreciation to Eddie. I mean, of course, we've got so many incredible books now that we didn't have before, you know, about Eddie's history and old interviews that have been unearthed. You know, we've obviously got the great book Eruption by Chris Gill and Brad Talinsky, and then we got the Paul Brannigan book and the Michael Christopher book, and then Steve Rosen's coming out with a book soon, you know, which is going to be really interesting as well. Yep, there you go. What else you got there, Andrew? You got them all? Oh, beautiful.
Got them all. Look at that. Boom.
Hang on. It's the 3rd one. Did you show that one? Yes.
I've got that one.
Yeah. And that one. Yeah. Anyway, and all of them are unique and have got their own spin on it, you know, and we've been so lucky because now more than ever has been, I mean, look, we all used to read all the Guitar World magazines and the Guitar Player magazines and find out everything we could about Ed back in the day. But now it's deeper content, you know, and I think that that's been one of the really great things about 2021 for me. Also, you know, still talking about new material about Ed. Then on the musical side, you've had people like Pete Thorne doing a deep dive on, you know, here's 23 different Eddie Van Halen humbuckers back to back that you can nerd out to your heart's content. I mean, that stuff just didn't exist before for you to check out, you know. And so there's that. And then if anyone hasn't also seen Jim Gaustad on YouTube and his deep dives into the tone world of EVH and the amps and the variacs and all of that stuff, he actually did a sort of a guest appearance on Tone Talk recently, I think on their most recent episode. And for anyone that hasn't seen that and is interested in Eddie's sound, that is equally incredible. And I would say his sound is the closest thing to the recorded Eddie Van Halen sound that I've ever heard. And
he's going to do a show with us next year too, bro.
Brilliant.
I've reached out to him. Yeah, he's
awesome, isn't he? Yeah. And what an incredible set of ears he has also, because his sort of you know, recreation of Eddie's sound is so close. I mean, it almost sounds like the isolated tracks. It's uncanny, and it just goes to show that, you know, with these people like Pete Thorne or Jim Gaustad or anyone else, they're not just fluking on it. I mean, it's just hundreds and hundreds of hours of research and all the boring stuff that we don't see behind the scenes, you know. It gets shrunk down to like a 30-minute or 1 hour video. And all of these have really come out, a lot of them in 2021 this year. And I just think for all us tone nuts and guitar nuts and Van Halen nuts, that's been one of the great things. So I would say just to sum it up in one thing, being able to deep dive on anything that you want to this year has been really, really great, because I guess with people being locked down, everyone's had the time to dive that deeply, you know? So that's one of the great things with this year. One of my annoying things with this year, of course, is I'm sure for all of us, is postage times. Because while we've all been waiting on the things we've bought for ourselves during the year, or Christmas presents and guitar pedals and whatnot, everything seems to be taking forever. So hopefully we can all look forward to quicker international postage times next year.
Yeah,
for sure.
So that's me. That's my 2 cents.
Well, for me, I think one of the most positive things that have come out of the last 12 months is the new friendships that have formed through this channel. Yourself, Hoss, included in that, and everyone in the chat, everyone that's joined us, and the guests we've had on, the friendships we've formed with those people as well. So for me, that's been a real positive. We're living in an era where we can't connect in other ways, and this is a great way to connect. So I'm sure you guys will probably agree that it's been a phenomenal year for friendships online. We don't necessarily catch up with people that often anymore because of the big pandemic word, and we're not able to travel as much and all that sort of stuff and see family, friends, or whatever it may be. But the friendships that have formed through this channel have been amazing. Hoss and I have caught up once now, post lockdown, and it's been great. And I think we've got a lifetime of friendship here between the four of us. So it's great. And everyone who's come on the channel, we've got a lot of friends in other countries. We're connecting with people all over the world. It's not just immediately where we live. So it's fantastic. So that's probably my most positive thing I've taken away in the last 12 months. Negatives, or the not so fun things, would obviously be a lot to do with the big pandemic word, which I don't really even want to say on here, which one of the rock professors dealing with right now. So it's probably been one of the hardest things to deal with over the last 12 months. The lockdown here in Australia, especially Melbourne, my word, that was quite a testing period for myself, and I'm sure everyone here in Melbourne, but I'm sure everyone around the world's felt that through their own lockdowns and inability to travel or catch up with family and friends, and even just doing normal things. So that's probably been one of the more negative parts of the last 12 months for me. But I don't want to bang on about it either too much, because there's been a lot of positives out of it as well. A lot of growth, a lot of personal development, and a lot of other things have come out of it. So, you got to always look at the positives out of a negative, I think. So
absolutely,
sure,
yeah,
for sure. I'd like to echo that the community, the guys in the chat, who come every week and support us, is tremendous to feel, that they feel bought into what we do and stuff. So thank you so much, everyone, and we are very appreciative of it as a group of people trying to do something.
Hey, Julia.
For me, some of one of the main things about it is the music made by the community, the amount of music, Simon, as you doing stuff, but we've got Great Vanzini, who does stuff regularly. Tim, Texas Jackdaw, he does stuff. Arvin as well, has done a whole pile
Mark
of
Tanner.
stuff. Mark Tanner as well, does some great stuff with Great Vanzini and others. There's collaborations, and they're all worth checking out, because they're all, anybody who does original stuff, or not even makes music, is is a 10 out of 10 in my mind. Even if I don't like it, that's a different thing. Somebody goes ahead and does something, as a project, whatever it is a tremendous thing, because it's a creative thing, and that's I think it's one of the things that's kept us going through this whole the P word, the pandemic. Is that people doing creative things on here, and just quietly just putting out stuff, and doing things, and so I take my hat off to those guys, because I think they contribute in ways that possibly they don't quite understand about other people's well-being and other people's positive mental attitude, keeping our spirits up when when it's all a bit tough. So I'd like to shout out to those people. I'm sorry if I missed other people who do me, but those are the ones I particularly came across, and you know, definitely uplifting for all of that. Is a fantastic thing. So thanks all for that, you guys, and yeah, continue to do it, please, into the next year, because it's yeah, it's amazing. And of course, Brad, you know, continues to get his musical thing going. All right, that way. That's it. That's the one.
It's always the other way. Always.
It's all the wrong way. Look, there he's over there. Clearly, it's in all the screens.
Oh, thanks,
Simon. You know, again, you know, you do original stuff. You know, I mean, you know, we are not worthy. You know, anybody's, you know, original stuff. But so, you know, that everybody's doing that on the channel. So fantastic work for you guys. You know, stuff. I don't know. Well, I mean, clearly, one of the rough things is currently, you know, having a current fight with it now, just to keep me entertained over Christmas. So,
not real good timing for you, Simon, either. I'm sorry that this has happened to you, mate. But,
well, it's never good timing, but you know, hey, if it's as my, you know, I'm very lucky. I'm triple vaccinated. You know, I've taken all the precautions. If it's as mild as this, and it's just like a bad cold, then I'm doing all right, and I got off lightly, and I'm thankful for that in, you know, many ways. So in spite of the fact, yes, it's an annoyance, but you know, I'm not in hospital, I'm not, you know, having to have tremendous amount of medical help, so I'm very thankful for that. Well, Mr. Walton, like, pointing up is easy, you see. I know.
Awesome. I just want to do a quick shout out. We've got Tanty Music in the chat. We've got Quentin James in here, and Julia. We haven't seen Julia for a long time. Thank you guys for hanging out with us.
Yeah.
One of the great things that I like about doing this show is that I get a time to hang out with 2, 3, or 4 if we've got a guest hosts, and it's always inspiring hanging out with you guys and listening to you guys talk about your first positive and your first negative thing is interesting, and it's what we like, because we are brothers here in the true sense of the word, and music is that glue that brings us together, and you know, it's that passion. And I think that's one of the reasons why this channel is doing its little thing. It's because of, as you guys already mentioned, that P word. But I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about a couple of shows that we've done on the British Electric side of the channel, because we're 2 channels here, 2 shows on the channel. The show that we did on All Things Must Pass with the Rock Professor and Brad, the Backdoor Man. I think we did 3 shows. Was it 3 shows, guys, on that album?
Yeah.
Just phenomenal work that we did. It was the amount of research that we all did. We all broke it down. We had separate subjects that we went away, that we bought, you know, and we cared for this album. And Brad's got a copy of the record there, you know, that he's going to play on that turntable when it gets hooked up. It's going to probably be the first album he'll play. But, you know, one of the key things that I got when I was doing the show with these guys was the way that we were just handling this record, and it was just, you know, a part of our lives. We all came from this album from different time periods, you know, different parts of our lives, different maturities, you know, in our lives. Some of the songs had a real resonance for us personally. I think, Rock Professor, you lined up and bought this album or something, but you were certainly listening to it when it was still pretty hot, you know, being the senior member here. But yeah, certainly doing those 3 shows was a highlight for me personally. One of the sad things of the year for me is the passing of Dusty Hill. For me, you know, there were a lot of guys. I've got another person too that I'm going to mention that passed away because, you know, unfortunately, as the year goes by, more and more musicians or people related to the industry that we love pass on, and we can't call them all out, but certainly Dusty from ZZ Top was one that had a huge impact on me personally, because the music again was such an influence on my life. And again, we've been lucky to rank a few of the albums on the channel. So if you guys love ZZ Top and want to go and listen to what we've said about these albums, please do. Hoss, I'm going to fire it back to you, bro, because it's your turn, brother.
Sure. Look, one of the things that I've been waiting for, like I know a lot of us have, was the Beatles Get Back special. I mean, I think to have that dropped on us all this year as music lovers, pop music lovers, and you know, in our own way, historians of pop music as well. I mean, that was just an incredible peek behind the curtain that I actually think that from everyone I've spoken to dispelled a lot of myths about. I mean, we've all read so many different books and material on how things were back then, but getting to watch them for so many hours on, you know, on camera like that and sort of candidly, it was much more amicable than everything that I'd ever read in books about that time. You know, I always thought there was, my impression was there was a lot of acrimony and it wasn't that much fun for any of them. They didn't want to be there, but I don't feel that watching the special, you know, and I think that, I think we got a rare treat to really see properly into the world of the Beatles and how they interacted together. What great musicians and songwriters that they are, that they could put that together from scratch, writing the songs and rehearsing in a couple of weeks and giving us that music. And as we know, some of which didn't even end up on that. They wrote heaps of other stuff as well, you know? So, so that was one of the things that I think was a real blessing for music lovers. But look, I agree with all of you. And I've got here in my notes as well, the same thing that Brad said, which is, one of my most favorite things about 2021, apart from guitar playing and Eddie Van Halen and music and all that other stuff, is I really felt like I've made some great new friends, you know, and that would definitely start with you, Andrew, and you, Brad, and you, Simon. And thank you for welcoming me into your world and your community that you've built up. I definitely feel blessed for that. And you know, I've made some really lovely friends internationally as well. Of course, Neil Daly, who we were talking about before, awesome gentleman, sweetheart of a guy, and a very talented guy as well. And of course others too, you know, like lots of people from Fruitcake Tony Show and John Conklin and Charles Green, Bent Tom, who you know, I've become good friends with, and these are all human beings that I didn't even know last year, you know, and so now we have this sort of rich community. And Christine was saying in the chat too the same thing, that the lockdowns have really given us an opportunity, sort of forced human beings in a way to find a different way of communicating and connecting with each other with their hearts, you know. And so this online community is definitely one of the better things to come out of 2021. It's been a real blessing, you know. So yeah, so I agree with you, Brad, and I think we all definitely feel that, you know. And then as far as, you know, one of the crappier things, probably just straight ahead obvious for me, which is that there almost no opportunities for live playing, you know. And I think that goes both ways. I know a lot of people in the chat would think, and Christine was saying that, you know, it's for punters, there's been no live playing to go and listen to, but also for us musicians, there's been no opportunity to actually play our instruments in front of people. And that's one of the joys of being a musician. It's not just sitting around practicing or being in your home studio, you know. So yeah. So what about you, Brad?
Well, look, it's I think we're going to start doubling up a little bit here, guys, and I apologize. It's pretty cliche, but you know, I guess from a lack of better ways of putting it, I have to agree 100% with you, Hoss, there. Probably one of the biggest, you know, things for me was Get Back. Like, I've been a fan of the Beatles most of my life, and to actually see behind the curtain, like you said, of what they did, and watching shot. I did a little bit of a header at one of the final show we did, Andrew, if you remember, where I spoke about songwriting and watching songs like Let It Be evolve from the ground up. He comes in, starts playing on a piano, the chordal structure. There's no words for it yet. He's just humming the melody. and watching those songs evolve from ground up from albums that I've listened to pretty much my whole life. So, and the Beatles being a big or major part of my DNA, that was one of the highlights of the last 12 months, and something that I was really eagerly looking forward to. And we watched 8 hours for our episode to try and get it done. So I was glued to the TV for most of the weekend watching it in preparation for our first show on the breakdown of the Get Back series. But honestly, there was so many high points in that, and it did dispel a lot of rumors and everything that we were led to believe about the Beatles in that period. And then you're watching them, and there's some wonderful, wonderful moments in that, like heartwarming. You can see that, you know, the band's been around for nearly 10 years, and they've probably maybe reached the end of the tether for the band, but you could see there was a mutual respect even when George left the band, and they all ganged together and said, let's get George back. And there was just some beautiful moments. And then all the way up to the end, it was like seeing them on the rooftop. That was an amazing thing. And I think we're all, as music fans, not just Beatle fans, we're all extremely lucky to have lived in a time when this has been released, because remember, there's Beatle fans that have passed away before this has been released, and they never got to see the real story to this album.
Including several Beatles.
So that's, I don't want to sort of double up too much on what everyone sort of said, but that was, I agree with you, Hoss. That was one of the big points and one of the big highlights of this year for me. Yeah. And I don't know whether, I feel like I'm going to be sort of stealing people's stuff here, but I've got a list of notes here. And the loss of Dusty Hill, I've put that there as well as one of the, the ZZ Top within my top 5 bands of all time. I grew up listening to ZZ Top. The minute I got their first album on CD, that was it for me, and I could hear everything that I loved about music in that first album. So, I can hear my love for Van Halen. I can hear a lot of ZZ Top in Van Halen, and I'm sure everyone can hear that. So the music, to lose Dusty, it's really strange, because I was watching the little old band from Texas for about the 100th time on Netflix, and maybe a day later I found out Dusty Hill passed away. So that was, I don't know if anyone has ever watched that on Netflix. It goes for about 2 hours, but if you haven't seen it, it's mandatory, and you'll fall in love with Dusty. I think he was one of the coolest dudes in ZZ Top as well. So that was a bit of a down sort of negative thing that's happened, but at least we've got, was it 50 years of ZZ Top with Dusty? So that we should be grateful for that.
I totally agree. Well said, Brad.
Yeah.
And no, I haven't seen that Netflix special, so that's the first thing I'm going to do now.
Yeah, you need to. It's mandatory. I think you'll appreciate ZZ Top so much more too, because there's a lot more to ZZ Top than just the MTV era, which everyone seems to gravitate to legs and Under Pressure.
Yeah.
But the first, initial part of ZZ Top's, the first maybe 5-6 albums are the gold for me. But they always produced really good stuff afterwards. But that's the evolution of a true rock blues band, in my opinion.
I totally agree. Yeah. I've got some of the early vinyl actually, and it's some of my most treasured stuff.
Yeah. There's something about ZZ Top's music that no matter what mood I'm in, if I put it on, it just makes me feel great. So
can't beat a shuffle in A, can you?
No, shuffle in C.
Or C. Shuffle. Shuffle, boy, shuffle.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Doesn't matter, does it?
Simon.
Couple of things I'll pick out. One of the things that is, one of the highlights for me is the continued growth of the channel. I think, we're well over 800 subscribers now. That's awesome. A really cool thing. So thanks everyone for that. I think that, and part of that is the sort of growth of the 5150 bit of the show, which has been fantastic to see, and to, you know, I'm only a small part of it, but to see you guys really take it on and, you know, make it something that is really cool for people, I think is really good. I think the shows, particularly about Michael Anthony and Alex Van Halen, have been really worth it. I think they're really worthwhile shows, because nobody seems to do them, do they? Not like that.
Yeah.
They don't do in-depth stuff on those shows. So I think you guys doing those in-depth shows on those two, to kind of see what they do, how they fit into value, what they bring to it, was really good.
Yeah. Thanks,
with our guests who came with their specialists, whose names I can't remember because I'm useless with names.
Those shows were definitely fun, Simon. Right. Yeah, it was great. And also, of course, to give full respect to Alex Van Halen and Michael Anthony, who is as much a part of that band as George Harrison and Ringo Starr, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think it's really good to have an in-depth into, you know, the mechanics of what they do to support, you know. Clearly it's very easy to, you know, go them and bypass and go straight to Eddie, isn't it? I mean, it's such a, you know, such a talent, and such a, that it's easy to forget that without them, you know, less of him, if you like, you know, they set it up, showcased, built it, so that he, you know, he had something to, you know, he had foundations on which to do his amazing stuff on. But I think to look at those in depth was some of the highlights for me, you know, from you guys. I think it's hats off to you for doing that, and you know, more of those, please, because I think they're really interesting and stuff.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, that was great fun.
Yeah.
Thanks, Simon.
Really
and
cool for that.
You mentioned that you're not a big part of the 5150 show, Simon, but you are, because you're a producer in the background, and you do, and you've been a bit of a rock behind us on the 5150 show this year as well. So, because obviously we've had a lot of things going on and changes and stuff like that, and you've been a big part of that. So, you know, don't sort of discount your input there.
It's quite amusing. I think it's quite funny, actually.
and you know, we have our good friend Hoss to thank for those in-depth Alex Van Halen and Michael Anthony shows, bringing in his boys from Fair Warning. So, you know, thank you, Hoss.
Yeah, and shout out to Jerry Pantazis and Jason Borher for coming in, because their knowledge on their, you know, for the respective instruments is incredible, and we all know a lot about it. But I mean, obviously, because they have to play the parts, they know it on a different level, you know. So, so shout out.
Sorry, I'm sorry, I couldn't remember their names.
No, that's all right. Yeah.
But, you know, they'll sink in at some point. So yeah, they were fantastic, and how, as you say, Simon, having them on was, you know, really took it to another level, because they have such an insider knowledge into what it takes to play those parts, and, you know, and be those people, if you like, kind of in that sort of sense. So that's been definitely some of the things. I mean, you know, I'm sure Andrew's going to mention Charlie Watts as being one of the great downs from this year. So, Andrew, I'll leave you with that to fill that out. But clearly, the loss of the drummer in one of the greatest rock and roll band in the world is a hard loss for us all.
Yeah, it is. It really was. Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Simon, because I do definitely have that on my list of sad things. And, you know, one of the great things about him passing is that we, as a collective here, got on and did what we, you know, wanted to do. And that was just get on and spend some time together. And we managed to get Foxy on and Carl on, and we did a show, and we just like guys going down to the pub house, you know, having a beer and just talking about, as Simon said, you know, one of the greatest, if not, you know, rock and roll drummers in the world passing. And I want to do a special shout out to Richard Fox, who's done a couple of shows with us, and we look forward to doing some more rock and roll Rolling Stones specials with him, because this guy is a foremost, Rolling Stones collector in the world. He's in the elite of Rolling Stone collectors. But, and he won't mind me pointing this out, but before we ended the show, when we asked him to have his final words, he was crying.
Right.
He had tears in his eyes, and you know, that had an effect on me after the show. Yeah, so I don't mind passing that on. But again, so I've gone a bit roundabout. So, and my second positive thing here, and I just want to make sure that you guys see this, that I'm not cheating. You can see, you know, the 5150 show with Hoss and other guests. And when I say other guests, I mean the guests that we've had on the British Electric Blues show. Some of the special guests that we've had, Luca on, the tribute show that we did. And I've got to pat ourselves on the back, guys. We did a pretty good job on that. We had no idea what we were going to do. Hoss, Brad, Rock Professor, we had no idea. You know, we kind of decided in our minds that this might happen and that might happen. And gosh, I think we're about 20 views away, Hoss and Brad, of getting 3,000 views for that show for our channel, which is awesome. pretty darn good. But yeah, getting Hoss on board took the 5150 show to another level. Now, you know, the 5150 show belongs here on this channel. This is a big part of our channel's work, the 5150 show, and going up, stepping up to another level, as Hoss said, and as Simon said, with these in-depth shows that we've done with these experts, has just blown me away. And to be part of it, to hang out with you guys, to hang out with Hoss, I still kind of feel, wow, you know. Yeah.
Pinch yourself.
Yeah. I got to pinch myself, you know. And look, and while I'm talking about that, you know, Hoss managed to get on our Christmas show, Tommy. All these Tonys in my head. Tommy Emmanuel, which blew a lot of people away. You know,
that was fantastic.
You know, and we look forward. No pressure, Hoss. Get him back, and we'll do a proper show with him. But yeah, well, actually, Hoss again. That you know, I suppose it's a shout out to Hoss, you know, because when he came onto the channel, he brought on, you know, some of these other guests, and you know, such a humble guy. You know, Hoss is a humble guy. He's just fitted in here with the rest of the rat bags, and yeah, it's a pleasure to hang out with you guys all. Hoss.
Yeah, look, the feeling's mutual. It's such a pleasure to hang out with you guys. Having Tommy even just being able to drop in from his tour bus, you know, for a couple of minutes. Obviously, that's fantastic. Crap reception, but look, he's such a sweet guy, and he's such a giver. His whole life, he wants to teach kids. He's always doing workshops on the day of a show. Look, I'm sure that once we get, you know, head into 2022, he'd be there, Tony. And actually, there's a very well-known story in the intimate Tommy Emmanuel inner circle about how back in the day, I forget whether it was the late 80s or the early 90s, but there was a reviewer in the newspaper who was supposed to do a review of the concert that he did and didn't go to the show, and he was written up as Tony Enamel, the sensitive new age banjo player. So, and so that one's gone down in history as one of the best, worst reviews ever from someone that clearly didn't even go to the show. But yeah, look, I'm sure that we could get him on for a proper chat, and he would love that too, because like I said, he loves to talk about music and guitar playing, and he's a giver. So we'll see if we can organize that for early 2022. Speaking of Charlie Watts too, I got something that I've always thought, like, if at some point they do a movie about his life, which actually I think would be great. I hope they do. I know unquestionably who should play him, what actor should play him. Does anyone would have a guess who'd be good to play Charlie Watts? What about in the chat? Can I wait 30 seconds and just see if someone can guess this in the chat? See if anyone knows who would be the closest looking and the perfect, even in terms of height and everything, the best actor to play Charlie Watts.
An established actor.
What was that? Definitely a very well-known established actor. I do have a picture here on my phone I can show once we've all given up, and you guys can tell me if I'm tripping or not. But okay, I'm seeing nothing yet in the chat, so maybe it's a tricky one.
Richard Dreyfuss.
Okay, Richard Dreyfuss. So there's a young picture of Charlie Watts, right?
Yeah.
You got that?
Yeah.
Anyone? Who does that look like? Anyone? Okay.
Oh, no.
I'm going to put everyone out. Dustin Hoffman. Sorry, Tanty, not Dustin Hoffman. I'll put everyone out of their misery.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, Bardem. You see that?
Gosh. Yeah.
It's pretty close, isn't it?
Yeah. got him lined up already. Yeah. Simon, you'll be going to
that's
film
something I
production
prepared,
in a minute.
I prepared earlier. No, I just remembered when you were talking about it, Simon, that I had those two photos in my phone because I was joking around with some friends, and I thought, Javier Bardem would be awesome. He looks just like Charlie when he was younger, you know. So
maybe you should put the proposal forward, Simon. Put the proposal forward. Yeah, do it, Hoss.
I'll put it on my social medias and we'll see if any movie has his take to it or not.
That's it.
Okay, so look, I'm going to be a bit shameless here, but it's just I'm so excited about it that I have to. Is that my third thing for my favorite part of 2021 is that finally, after having my Van Halen show rescheduled 5 times, we finally got it locked in on January the 25 this year. January 25 next year, but we got it locked in this year, and you know, the pandemic's permitting and all of that obvious stuff, then that's exciting for me. And I've been really fortunate because I've all the people that I really wanted, all these such talented Melbourne musicians and singers have all been available to do the new date. So that's kind of made my Christmas. That in a way, that was like my cosmic Christmas present. I feel like there's that, you know, and I didn't, there wasn't anyone that couldn't make the new date. So I was really lucky. So, you know, Nina and Darren and Dave Bowers and Jimmy Couples and you know, the regular band and all of that. That's pretty exciting. In fact, my promos for that, if I can be shameless, will be going live tomorrow. Ooh. So everyone will get to have a little bit of a sneak peek at what the Corner Hotel show is going to look like. And, so they'll be up. I was up on my socials tomorrow.
I hope you're in training already. So.
Actually, to be honest, with Christmas and you know how everything goes with catching up with people and family and eating too much and drinking too much, and my fingers haven't really touched the fretboard for the last week or so. So I've got a bit of work to do actually, but that's okay.
Well, I'm glad I'm not the only one then, Hoss, because I haven't picked up a guitar in over a week now. It feels like it's been forever.
Well, for anyone that was watching the Christmas special show, they'll notice that my guitar there is in the exact same position that it was last week. So anyway, and then
I'm in splendid isolation with an amp, 2 guitar, a 12-string, and one of my electric guitars and stuff. Yeah. Spend quite a lot of hours playing yesterday. Nothing else to do.
Well, that's good. That's good. But good, yeah, I've got the next few days in the studio, so I'm going to have to knuckle down and get to it. But look, so that's been probably my third favorite thing to finally get organized and locked in for 2021. And then as my third and final kind of annoyance, I don't know. I mean, in a way, I think the things that were probably the biggest hardships I've already mentioned, really. So I would just say, like the intense Melbourne lockdowns, where not even about that you couldn't play live or you couldn't go see music, and postage times, like nothing to do with that. But of course, we got the reputation as the most lockdown city in the world, which we were, and we couldn't even see our friends and go and do that stuff for months. So. You know, look, without delving into the pandemic that we all know about, I would say that's my third and final gripe of 2021, and onwards and upwards for next year.
That's it, man. Onwards and upwards. Well, I think mine. I mean, this is the thing. I'm doubling up here. I've got a list, so I'm not going to deviate from my list. Okay. I know we've spoken about the channel growth and the new friendships and the people we've met on here, but you know, we've hit some milestones on this channel, and it's been an amazing year for the channel. I think we've got a really wonderful community of people that join us every week. We've got a great community of people that join us when they can. We've got all different time zones. It feels like with every episode we move forward in a really positive direction, and so the biggest positive for the channel is the growth. We just seem to be organically growing. We're all about just being, you know, humble fans and enjoy what we're talking about. And it is humbling actually to have everyone keep coming back. And you guys are the ones that are helping us grow. You guys are the ones that are spreading the word of who we are and what we're doing. And so that's probably the other biggest sort of positive for myself with the channel is everyone that does their hard work here to help us grow and the growth. We're over 800 subs, which was what we tried to achieve at the end of the year. So we've hit it. So that's a really wonderful feeling. That being said, there's still work to be done. We'd love to get to 1,000 subs. We're not about how many people we've got subscribed, but it would be nice to hit that 1,000 mark. So that's been a really big positive. I think I speak for all of us here on the channel with that one. You know, we just got a wonderful community of people here, which is fantastic. And we get a lot of views after the show as well. So it's not just the amount of people that are watching, it's the amount of people that are rewatching the episodes. And, you know, there's been a lot of really cool things that have happened because of the channel, people that have contacted each of us individually and things like that. So that's a really positive thing here, and we're going to have some wonderful guests on next year and whatnot too. And we're all chipping away, doing our little bit to help the channel grow. So, but everyone here is helping us. So thank you so much. Maybe one of the gripes, you know, of the year. There's probably a few I could go on about, but I don't like to be too negative. But I think the lack of opportunities to travel and gig, that's probably been one of the hardest things, you know, for me personally. Is like Simon was saying, you know, we're musicians and you know, we do love performing. That's part of who we are. It's all well and good to sit in a bedroom strumming a guitar and playing a few licks and stuff like that. But the thing that we all thrive on and helps motivate us, especially myself when I'm trying to write music, I draw inspiration from playing and performing. So to be able to go and do that again, you know, I guess having, you know, like Hoss alluded, we were the most locked down place in the world here in Melbourne. So we weren't able to gig. We weren't able to do anything. So the lack of motivation and inspiration to write music, for example, we draw a lot of that when you're performing. You come home, you're inspired, you're motivated. When you haven't got that sort of motivation and inspiration, it can be sometimes a bit challenging to sit down and try and come up with something. So I'm looking forward to, you know, that's probably been the other gripe for me for this year. And I guess there's one more thing. Some of the egos and negative stuff through the YouTube community, which we're not part of, but we've moved on from that, and we're you know, as part of the positive side of it is the channel growth. So that's it for me. Simon.
Yeah, nice one. Yeah. I got quite a lot of highlights written down. I think I'll say that I think that the contribution of Simon, welcome to the channel, Simon. You can never leave Hotel California. Yes. And also Michael, also as well, who's and Marriott playing off each other, just amazing. And of course my personal favourite is probably thank you, Keith. My personal favourite is probably the first record I ever bought, which is Jethro Tull's Aqualung. So it was a pleasure to do that this year. So that was really good fun, because has a special place in my heart to Aqualung, irrationally. Although I can't hear it. The one I bought originally had a jump on it, and I can't hear it. When I hear it without the jump, it just sounds wrong. So I had it with a jump for so long, it just sounds wrong. But so I think they're, for me, really some of the highlights for that, as with those shows particularly, along clearly with All Things Must Pass and the Let It Be shows and things. But they were fantastic, and I look back on those with great fondness, and because they're particular things. Sort of downside for me, a bit of a personal one, really, because is Alan Lancaster from Status Quo, the bass player from the original bass player from Status Quo, dying. The band, the first album that I heard that I really, really got the tingles from, when I really kind of started to understand the power of rock and roll, was Status Quo's Pile Driver.
Right.
I don't know why. It was that thing. Just that kind of 12-bar boogie thing. It just amazed me. So there's a bit of a personal, him dying was because of that. So I remember that feeling distinctly to this day. That thing about, my God, what is this? And the hairs on the back of my neck go up, and you get the tingle, and you go, wow, look at that. Somebody's drawn back the curtain on something, and shown you a secret kind of thing. You've been initiated into a secret, which not everybody does. So that's one of my personal downsides. This is the great Alan Lancaster dying.
Yeah.
Mr. Walton.
Hey, Phil. Hey, Leo. And hey, Keith, thanks, guys, for jumping in. We really appreciate you hanging out with us. We've got 26 people watching. If you guys haven't already hit the subscribe button, please do. If you are watching a replay, hit the subscribe button. And also on the bottom there, you'll see some Instagram accounts of the guys here that will keep you really, really entertained. I will make sure that we have Hoss's Instagram up later if you guys want to catch the promo vid that he's talking about. So you guys need to probably sub to him over there. Thank you guys for what you guys have mentioned and said. Look, I've got to agree with a lot of what you guys have said, obviously. The positive and the last negative or gripe that I've got are echoes of what's gone before. I have to agree with Hoss. The scholarship that's gone into the EVH books that have been released that I've read so far has been top notch. I've got, like a lot of us, a lot of music biographies. There's some really, really good ones, a lot of average ones, and a shitload of shit ones. But the EVH stuff that I've read has set the benchmark up to a higher level, and I think that's probably Hoss and Brad and Simon. That's probably a reflection of the subject that they're talking about. I think I'd like to think that that's why the stuff is so good.
Yeah.
On a negative, which parallels the fact that we've got some great biographies out there, on the negative is the complete bourgeoisification of the music press internationally. Now, it's atrocious. It's horrible. If there was any kind of respectability on popular music reporting or discussions or articles, it's all dead and buried and gone. The way that the established music media have treated a handful of stars and focused on one or two or three historic things that these people have done and not given us the complete picture about what these people have done, the help, in regards to Ericclapton, Crossroads Centre, the fact that he built that he funds this alcohol and drug rehabilitation treatment, the fact that he did these auctions and auctioned off his guitars to fund that is completely sidestepped by these hacks who's supposed to be out there representing the music that we love. Goodbye to them. And I mean this humbly when I say this. It's channels like us, it's YouTube channels of organic fans now that are going to give the credibility back to rock and roll music.
Yep. I think so. Got to take it into our own hands, because the you know, the establishment, the way it was, just aren't doing. You're right. They're not doing a good enough job. You know.
Yeah, exactly. And I couldn't agree with you more, Andrew. 100%. It's atrocious the way that they, have treated people like Ericclapton, and when he does so much and behind the scenes, which isn't acknowledged. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
So, were we going to be talking about things that we're sort of looking forward to for 2022, guys? Or were we going to?
I've got more things. I've got more things
really
about 2021, to be honest.
What was that?
I said I've got more things for 2021. Look at me. I told you I had quite a lot of things, didn't I?
Well, we can touch on other things. Sorry, guys. We can touch on other things if you want.
Yeah, well, I got a couple of other things that I can mention. I can mention a week spent doing guitar breaks with Josh Smith. That was fantastic. That's a highlight of my year. One-to-one lessons with Josh Smith is a scary thing, but in a good way.
Right.
Yeah. So and a week in Farnham in Surrey doing that was a really highlight of my year. Fantastic. Clearly meeting some really good new people and stuff. New part of that community, which is a fantastic community. And I think that also I'd like to mention John ZD351 for his graphics this year. Fantastic stuff. Thank you, John.
Absolutely. Thank you, John.
It's been really cool with those. Yeah, it's been such fun for those things.
Yeah,
with me as Ericclapton in several of them is always a good. Always been cool.
Three Stooges was good. I like that one as well.
Yeah, Three Stooges one. See, lots of fantastic. So thank you, John, for those. That's been some really cool stuff for me as well. Yeah. And I don't know about you guys. Have you discovered any new music this year, guys?
I don't think so. Not really. I've had a good year actually delving back into some old albums that I hadn't listened to for a long time, and kind of appreciating them on a different level, And so for me, normally I love a year where I discover lots of new music, and I would almost be disappointed that I didn't. But actually, I had so much fun reigniting the passion for some old stuff that I'd sort of forgotten about, that I had a good year of doing that. And so who knows, maybe 2022 will be discovering some new stuff. But
yeah. What about you, Brad? You discovered anything new this year?
I did discover, he's been around for a while, but Kingfish, I don't know if you've heard of him before. Blues artist. I really enjoy his playing. And his album that just recently got released, I can't think of it off the top of my head at the moment, but I've been giving that a bit of a spin, and that's been really surprising. He's really tapped into something quite special there, I believe. So I encourage everyone to go listen to that. I've had some really cool sort of things happen this year. I mean, Hoss was sitting in my room here. Is the guy I watched doing a Van Halen show at the Melbourne Guitar Show a couple of years ago, whatever it was now. And that was a bit surreal for me when you left, Hoss. I'm like, that's that dude I was watching at the Guitar Show. And I've seen him playing in other bands. I've seen him playing before, and it's just like, wow, man. So that was a bit of a surreal moment, I have to admit. I've had some really, really in-depth conversations with someone whom, if everyone's a fan of the channel, probably understands and knows that I'm a big fan of Philip Sace. So I've become really good friends with him. Which,
that's really cool. That's
been really cool, inspiring to talk to him on a really personal level. So and you know, such a wonderful, kind, humble human. So someone that has inspired me, you know, to the point of releasing new music. Was like the last little push I needed to push myself into doing my own solo thing. And then obviously it's a bit surreal to actually have video calls with him and stuff like that and talk to him on that level, which is quite amazing. Another thing that came out of that was Art Menezes, a Brazilian guitarist who is big in blues and a friend of Philip Sace as well. I was chatting to him on a Instagram live, and just amazing how things work out. You know, I was chatting to him and I asked him a simple question about, you know, what pickups he would suggest for a maple neck Strat, just a throwaway comment. And before I know it, I had, you know, JW Restorations from America, Joel, contact me saying, oh, you know, Art said you're after, I've got one set left of these Philip Sace pickups, and so I put them in my Strat. It's just funny how the world works. You know, this world is smaller than we realize through the internet. And so those little things have been quite amazing, that 2021, despite, you know, myself releasing something a year and a half ago that I couldn't go out and even perform or push any of that, like the little bit of progress I've made, hopefully moving forward into 2022, which is what I'm getting at now, is my hopes and aspirations for 2022 is growth of the channel. It's always awesome that you guys in the chat and watching us appreciate what we're doing, and we don't, you know, we don't take that for granted. We actually really appreciate that. But I'm looking forward to the channel growing, because we've got a lot to offer here. And in 2022, I'm going to be releasing some new music as well. So I'm looking forward to that. I had a chat with the studio where I'll hopefully be recording some of the music, drum-wise at least. Color Sound Music, Matt Robbins and Color Sound in Altona here in Melbourne. Met with him today. So that was a really positive little meeting. So that was great. So we're looking, so some really cool things, looking forward to 2022. And part of that will be doing some opening slots for his band Sick of the Stone. So stay tuned. There'll be an official Brad Cook launch in 2022.
Fantastic. Look at that.
Looking forward to it. That's going to be great.
Thanks,
much
guys.
to look, plenty to look forward to. Andrew, any new music for you? Stuff you've discovered this year?
Benny Marsden's first album, Kings, which features 10 songs by Albert Beebe and Freddie King, is freaking amazing. It's going to be one of the albums that I'm going to pick, that we're going to rank the tracks on the British Electric Blues Show next year. It's just remarkable. But yeah, that's certainly a highlight. Bonamass's albums, gosh, that guy releases 3 albums a year, so it's pretty hard to keep up with him. Royalty, I was just listening to Royalty, and then he drops another one. Oh gosh, you know. So but yeah, look, I'm still listening to some of the old stuff. You know, a lot of the albums that we've ranked to, Simon, and we've had our show, I've gone back and listened to with a new set of ears too. So that's always something that I enjoy doing.
Yeah, me too. I absolutely agree. Things like Love Sculpture, you know, I don't know if I've ever heard that record before we did it on here. You know, it's such a great choice to go back, as you say, albums that we've ranked in the past, go back and then listen to them with fresh ears, or, you know, as if new discoveries. Is a fantastic thing. I think my sort of person I discovered this year is Jason Isbell. Jason Isbell is extraordinary. You know, I think he's a fantastic musician, and particularly "If We Were Vampires" is one of the best songs I've ever heard. That is such a great song.
I'll have to check that out.
Oh, man alive! It's a fantastic song. How did he do that? Anyway, I've known him a bit from Drive By Truckers, because I've liked Drive By Truckers for a bit, but never really connected the two. But recently, so I urge anybody who hasn't listened to Jason Isbell. He's a fantastic player and a fantastic songwriter. Really, he's a songwriter, and his songs are fantastic.
I agree with that, Simon. Yeah, anyone hasn't checked him out, please do.
Yeah. And my friend Ariel Posen released a really good record this year as well. So check that out if you haven't. He's a fantastic. He's another one who works. Our own. He's on tour now in Canada and North America. He's coming to Britain. I'm going to see him in February and stuff. So Friday was still open, but we'll see. But he's always out. He just released a sort of an instrumental album, kind of reflective instrumental album, which he did. Interesting, he did a limited edition vinyl of it, but basically he did it as a crowdfunded thing. So I think he said if 200 people order it, then we'll make it, kind of thing, to make it worth his while. But I don't know, Simon. He's done some really but he's done things like he would do. I bought a couple of those here, really cool personalized singles. So he'd actually go into like a place that cut them direct cut, and he would do a message to you and then play you the song, and then you get it as a 7-inch single. Yeah. It's little kind of marketing. It's such fun. Hey Simon, hope you're well. This is something, and he just then he played the song, and it clearly. You can only do it so many times, but because you've got to do it for each individual and play the song each time, kind of thing. So it's quite hard work. I think going to studio, play the whole song, play the song 50 times or something with 50 different messages on the front. But it's like
that's
quite
great.
hard work. Yeah, but lovely stuff. So he's a man for me. Oriel was fantastic, but. So I think that's my new music stuff for this year. I think what else have I? yeah. So I think that kind of as I've said, there's been so many highlights for me, so many really cool things that have gone on this year, in spite of all the nonsense, But this is the central thing. This show is the central thing, and I've looked forward to it every week. To this show, I look forward to what's the album going to be, what's somebody else going to choose. Starting up for the first time the album. Maybe I've heard it, maybe I haven't heard it much. Getting them up on Spotify or buying the albums and kind of playing them. It's been a real thrill. So thank you, team. You've all been fantastic, and it's been a real something to keep me going through the nonsense.
Appreciate it, Hoss. Do you want to? Kick off with your hopes for the new year, your things that you want to see next year.
Look, I'm really heartened by. I think that we're entering into an era where connection and communication is better than ever, and I think that people's thirst for knowledge and also in an environment like a show like this where people can just casually chat and have a discussion like you're in somebody's lounge room. I think we're going to see more and more of that. And I think the content's just going to get better and better. And also I'm seeing it in terms of like the customer support and communication with like it's easier than ever. If you've got someone, I was in touch with a couple of people during the year just about equipment, guitar pedals and stuff. And you can reach out now on Instagram and, DM people on Facebook and stuff. And people are so happy to talk to you now. And usually like the people that actually make the stuff, rather than a customer support person, like I was chatting with Simon Jarrett from Kingsley Pedals and he was really sweet. I mean, you could never get to the top people of a company before. You'd always get someone in customer support. But we live I think one of the things that COVID has done is it's made everyone more accessible. And I just think that's a beautiful thing. So I think for me, one of the things that I'm really looking forward to for 2022 is I think we're going to see more of that. That's going to flourish. And, and there's there's lots of special projects that I've got in mind to do as well, apart from my Van Halen thing, which I'm going to keep under wraps just for a little bit because I want them to be a surprise. But I've got some other things in store as well, and that I'm looking forward to. But yeah, I just think you know, one of the, there's been lots of crap because of COVID, but I think the fact that that human beings have learned how to connect and communicate even better than ever is one of the most beautiful things to come out of it. So that's what I'm looking forward to for 2022.
Do you know, one of the most amazing things that I've learned was that Dave Friedman, man, he answers all the customer things himself.
Yeah.
He's like, and there's somebody, I think Mark has actually said to him, well, you should get somebody. He goes, yeah, but they don't have to come and ask me, so I might as well do it myself. It's like, you know, it's like, I find that really weird. It's like Dave Friedman about, you know, clearly running a very successful amp company. You know, if you write it to Friedman Amps, Dave Friedman will answer you himself.
Well, look, I totally agree, Simon. And while we're on it, I think it's probably a good moment, if I can, just to take a second and do some shout outs to some of the people that have been exceptional in terms of how they've opened themselves up to people buying their products. And, you know, Lawrence at LPD Pedals is so conversational and such an awesome guy and is happy to talk about whatever. Tim Mills from Bare Knuckle Pickups you can message him and he'll tell you anything you want to know. He won't just say, go and read the website, because, you know, that's how people used to do it 10 years ago. Mike at Analog Man is wonderful too. He'll personally respond if you've got any questions. So there's, you know, I think it's good to shout out to these people because they obviously would get a lot of messages about their products. And that, like what you're saying with Dave Freeman, people that take the time to personally respond to their customers. Well, that's awesome, you know?
Nice one, Neil.
Well, I was going to mention Neil, but I couldn't. And I'm sorry, Neil, but every time I call you, you don't answer the phone, bro. No, I'm kidding. Neil, of course, is, as it goes without saying, that is as awesome as anybody. And so, but this is what I'm talking about. It's, I think that we're going to see more and more of this, and it's wonderful. It's like the gatekeepers to all of this stuff is disappearing, you know? Yeah. You
get through to the source, which is always what you want, isn't it? What you want to be able to do if you need to.
Yeah, and as a consumer, that's really exciting because as a teenager, it would never have occurred to me in a billion years that I could message Jim Marshall and have him answer a question about the amp, you know, which, of course, back then you couldn't, but now you can, and it's wonderful. Yeah, it's really great.
Yeah. Awesome. It makes perfect sense. Brad, have you got anything, any positive hopes, wishes, aspirations for the coming year?
Yeah, I mean, I think I touched on a lot of them before, but one of them just being able to get out and see bands and get inspiration from other players and whatnot. They haven't been able to do. I've been starving for that for maybe 2 years. You know, I draw a lot of inspiration. Sometimes I'll go watch a band and it might not even be the guitar player that inspires me. It might be a drummer that just inspires me. And I go, wow, I need to, I want to go home and play my instrument and get better. And, or I go watch Hoss play and I get my ass kicked and I want to hang the guitar up forever and things like that. So, things like that, that I miss that. I miss that getting out and seeing live performances from other musicians. That's something that I'm looking forward to. Into 2022, and for being a roadie for Hoss,
I promise I'll go easy on you, brother. I promise.
So that's me. And obviously, just like I reiterate, just the channel just keep going onwards and upwards.
Simon, you've already mentioned yours. Or have you got some more there before I jump in with mine?
I've got one or two more for next year.
Okay. Cool.
Hopefully, guitar breaks in Italy, which will be a fantastic thing. That would be cool if we get back to Italy. So hopefully, fingers crossed for that. First gig on the 29th of January. We're back.
Awesome.
I'm looking forward to that. Dave and I are in training, hard at rehearsals for that. So it's been good actually. The last few weeks we've been really getting back into the groove of it. So that's really something to look forward to. Get some more gigs and get out and do some playing. So
that's awesome.
Looking forward to particularly to those things. I don't know. There's probably some other stuff, but that's where I am right now. There's the two things that I'm really looking forward to so far. But we're not even in January yet. Mr. Walton.
So we've had Jim on our show. Jim Marshall fixed his first amp no charge, and he got to meet him in the 80s and was able to thank him. Wow.
How's that? That's awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Well. Look, guys, I've picked 4 things for my things that I want to see happen next year. The first thing that I want to see is I can't pronounce his name. I'm not even going to pretend to pronounce his name, but he is a blues historian working on a new biography on Peter Green. So I'd love to see that released next year. I just adore Peter Green and everything that he did with Fleetwood Mac, the early Fleetwood Mac. Because we're a Van Halen related channel as well, I'd love to see anything from Van Halen released. And I know that's been a topic for a lot of Van Halen fans for a long, long time, but anything released next year would be great. And I think that they might get a bit of pressure put on them to probably do that. So I'd like to, certainly, if not only by the fans. So I'd like to see that. That's on my wish list. And the last two items, guys, is obviously the corner bar gig, because that's a big part of our channel. We've been talking about that for a while, so we've got some plans going on there, and the whole build up to that, Hoss and Brad especially, is going to be really, really exciting. Can't wait. And the fourth one that I've picked is new music from Brad.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I can't wait to have anything from Brad. Will be just I think everybody here will just be humbled to be part of, you know, that whole process that Brad's mentioned earlier, and Hoss, you know, the lockdowns that they've been in. So, you know, having that experience, not solely that experience, but something from that experience reflected in some new music. Because, you know, Brad's got the goods, so we can't wait. We can't wait to see that.
I second that, Andrew. I can't wait to hear new music, Brad. That's going to be awesome.
Thanks, guys. Look, I'm chuffed. Thank you. I'm just going to, you know, we'll see what happens. Like, I've got a few things in the works. So, but one thing, you know, I appreciate that, Andrew. I really do. And you guys are my biggest supporters, so thank you. I'll share as much as I can through the channel here as I'm in the process.
Okay, well, and I've got to see Deathgasm too.
What's that?
Deathgasm 2. Don't see that Deathgasm 2 until you see Deathgasm 1.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
that's a classic. Well, Brad, if you're carrying my Marshall 4x12s, Brad, I'll be carrying all your boxes of CDs when your stuff is out.
Yeah.
So there you go. That'll work.
You can be the merch bitch.
We want limited edition vinyl, Brad. What we want is limited edition vinyl.
Oh, it's going to be heavy. Come on.
Come on. 180 gram vinyl. What? That's what we're after.
Yeah.
Remember, it only has to be 20 minutes aside. Down to do 3. It doesn't have to be 900 years. 20 minutes aside, perfect. Really fine. One of the things you must have learned this year, Brad, all those albums we've done, you know, it's like it doesn't have to be 70 minutes long. You know, you get, you know, 20 minutes, plenty.
That's it. That's what you're going to get.
Yeah, that's
what you're going to get.
That's quality, not quantity.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yes, we've had some amazing shows this year, and I can't even pick a personal favorite myself because, you know, the beauty of being a music fan, as I am, is, you know, it's great because we're touching on all different areas of music, not just, you know, the Beatles. We're doing Van Halen, we're doing all sorts of things, blues, rock, we're doing all sorts of things, and electric blues and British electric blues. We've been we've been blessed to be able to do other things other than just British Electric Blues on this channel. So that's going to be a big part of moving the channel forward too. We're going to be
It's a movable feast, isn't
a
it?
bit more, and we're still trying to work out how we're going to get ourselves around Hoss's gig and doing that live cross across and things like that. But
we'll figure it out.
We'll figure that out, and we'll try and bring it as good as we can for the corner hotel show. It's going to be great. Looking forward to that.
Oh, it is. Yeah. It's going to be fantastic. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to hearing that rig live.
I'm looking forward to finishing putting it together first. So don't worry, I'll let you know. You'll have to come and give me a hand with that. Yeah.
Got to go around and test yourself against it, Brad. Can I lift it up? How many journeys is it? Does the corner hotel? Do you have to go upstairs at the corner hotel? That's the key question.
No, thankfully not. Really not.
Thankfully, there's only a couple of stairs up onto the stage, and that's it.
Oh, that's right.
I'll keep lifting those weights so I can just throw your shit up on the stage.
Simon, I don't know if you've heard this story. I was once offered a job by Primal Scream, a group called Primal Scream, because they saw me hefting a 412 Marshal cab around, like clearly I looked like I was throwing it around like it was a piece of paper. I don't think it was, but I was carrying it for some friends of mine who are in a group. But what's he called? Bobby Gillespie said to my friend Gerard, "Who is that guy?" And he said, "Oh, that's Simon. He's just carrying the gear." It's like, oh, does he want a job?
We could do with someone like that.
Yeah. I'll be there.
Yeah, come on over for the gig, guys. You guys should just jump on a plane and come on over. For the gig.
Yeah, for the weekend. I'm going to Melbourne for the weekend.
Yeah, you just crash at my house. You can crash at my house. Just don't bring that dreaded plague with you, all right?
I'll be over it by then. Oh dear.
Yeah. It's been a great show, guys. And reflecting on the last 12 months, it's been a big year for the channel. It's been a big year.
Yeah, it has been, guys, and all credit to obviously the co-hosts here, the guest hosts that we've brought on, and everybody in the chat. So we're going to come back. We just decided in the green room we're going to do a show. At least 2 of us will be here. 3 of us will be here on January the 2nd. But we're going to take a couple of weeks off and then probably come back mid-January. We'll be back on track with at least the weekly show. But
Andrew's on his summer holidays, aren't you? You're on your summer holidays. You off to the beach?
Yeah. Well, we just want to take a break as we always do, and but I'll be looking forward to catching up with you guys on January the 2nd, which will be New Year's Day, won't it, for some of the guys in North America?
Yep, it sure will. Yeah, that'll be good fun.
Hoss, I'm going to ask you if you want to do a shout out. I know that we said that we weren't going to do it, but
we can do it. We got a lot more people now. Yeah.
Okay.
So we just had the illustrious Jerry Pantazis joining in the chat. Hey Jez, how you doing? By the way, he was playing drums on Australia's Carols by Candlelight and killing it. That's a long, tough gig of all sorts of different music, and Jerry was nailing that the other night. So thanks, Jerry. The great Vanzini in the chat. Kenneth K, Keith Campbell, of course, brother. Thank you. Gretch Zeppelin, thank you for your kind words. Quentin James, Tanty, Julia, Analog Kid, how you doing? Merry Christmas, brother. Holly Lewis, Jazz Thunder. We got Phil in there, Teresa, Neil Daly, Charmaine, Ellen, Layla's Guitar Daddy, John ZD351, as always, Nelson Rodriguez, Tim Thomas, Arvin, Mark Tanner, of course, Christine, as always, talking about drinks and dogs, Leo Safko, and I think that's about it.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful, guys. I just want to say, thank you to my co-hosts. Again, I can never say enough thanks. And if you guys in the chat too want to be associated to our channel, you want any of your social media accounts attached to our community page, I know that I still have to add Neil daily there. I'll do that, Neil, I promise. But yeah, if you guys want to be attached to anything that we do, just let us know. Me know, Hoss know, Brad know, the Rock Professor know. We'll make sure it gets done eventually.
Awesome. Thank you also, everyone, in the chat for excuse me, making it such a great year. Obviously, I've been lucky enough to come in as a special guest with these guys just in the last few months. But, the community in the chat is so gorgeous. And so thank you, everyone, for joining in. And I guess in the meantime, everyone have a safe and awesome New Year's Eve.
Yeah. Well, I'll just double that. And that's all I'm going to say. Happy New Year, guys. See you guys in 2022. And peace.
Absolutely. Yeah. Have a great New Year's, everybody. Thank you so much.
Peace. Yes.